Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kissy. So today I wanted to do a reading for the collective and have a conversation, share an insight, I guess you could say. But before I do, I'm going to set up my space and mention that thank you all that listen and follow my content. I appreciate it very much. I take my hiatuses because I do not present any message to my audience if I'm not in the state of mind to present it. And by that is not to say that there's anything detrimental going on, but life happens, things, occur. And I am a firm believer in, when you're trying to provide a message that's beneficial or that you believe or you deem to be important, you want to come and present the best possible way. At least the most authentic is what I should say. Because when I say the best, people would assume that means, presentation is everything and proper manners and all of that stuff, which to some extent it is to me. But authenticity is more important. And that's kind of why the message is important today, because I want to give a shout out to a YouTuber that I follow and has been super in how they share their message, Gemini Brown. Gemini Brown. I want to say that the message that he provided yesterday and today, there were short messages in regards to the planetary alignments. Now, for those of you that follow my channel, I am mostly, I consider myself an intuitive and an astrological enthusiast, if anything, because I love astrology, but I don't like to be scientific about it. By that I mean, I feel like it loses its sense of mystery for me. Not like, I know that there is predictive astrology. I can invest in studying predictive astrology, but to me that would discount my own knowing. And I'm not trying to say that anybody that has studied that is not using their intuition. What I'm saying is the method that I prefer to use is free form, so to speak, right? I express it free form, meaning I trust, because for me this is more faith-based than it is scientific-based. Although the scientific has confirmed the faith is grounded, if anything, meaning that I didn't look to the world to show me if I'm right until I understood that what I was experiencing or feeling was correct for me first. When I felt that something was correct for me, then I see out into the world and it's like, oh, the confirmation is there. Yes, all of this aligns with what I believe, as opposed to tell me what to believe so I could believe it and feel good. Because what I've learned growing up is that if I followed someone's instruction, it never went right, number one, because it's almost like for me, a way of learning life has more to do with you have your own questions or your own standards. And if your standards are, I want to reach enlightenment. If your standards are, I want to be the best. Or your standards are, I want to master this. If your standards are high for yourself, meaning that you're willing to do the work, you're willing to strive to do that, it's, in other words, I think that's what the message, oh my God, you hear me, I'm all over the place, right? Because there's so much I want to share. But Gemini Brown made the correlation for me yesterday, and I want to get into all of it, but it's like, where do I begin? Because I feel like there's so much in this time away that I haven't put into words, and I'm grateful that I am doing that. And I know to whoever's listening is probably like, what the fuck is she talking about? Because I'm all over the place right now. But please bear with me. I'm 5 minutes in? I know, not the best intro, but whatever. I'll do my best. So, the last couple of weeks, I've been really observing, if you want to put it that way. I've been really observing my day-to-day in terms of being very present with, just tuning out most of, like, how to put it, tuning out most of social media, but also really like just being in my own little bubble, being in my world. And some will be like, oh, everybody's in their own bubble, everybody's in their own world. Yes, I know, everybody is. However, in this instance, it's like when you feel a responsibility or a duty to a social group, I guess you could put it that way. You feel a community with in a larger scale, almost as if it's your purpose, and you're collaborating on a larger scale with spirit and with others that are aligned to that truth. Like, it's the patterns that you can see within the society, within humanity, within, just the world around us. It inspires me to share my own message. So, okay. Jeez, I know. I feel like if I had an editor, my videos would be a lot more concise, wouldn't they? But, hey, I work solo dolo. And because I do, I just do the best that I can with what I work with, And I hope that the message that I'm going to share with you, when I finally do, right? It's been what? I don't know why. Why am I looking at the time so much? 6:33. Okay, guys. And it's not like a sense of anxiety either. It's an excitement maybe, or it's just like a burst of energy that I have to share information. So this is the notes that I wrote when the inspiration came to me. It was, don't underestimate the power of your message. And the reason I'm saying that is, again, don't underestimate the power of your message, because the vibe that I was in since last I posted a video here, it's been a very contemplative, yet it feels like a lot of spiritual work was being put into place, okay? A lot of active relating, active, conscious communicating, actively fighting spiritual wars that are beyond just personal gripes. You know what I mean? This is entity-wise, if you want to put it that way. And so when I was running some errands, and I listened to the message of Gemini Brown. Now, yesterday was extremely significant. Oh my God, again, because he gave a message yesterday, and it put things into perspective, is what I want to say. And it had to do with the Leo Sun energy being, let me see if I can recall the message accurately, I can tell you the impact that it made, or why it impacted me. Let's just say that what he was describing in yesterday's message was very, very close to home, meaning I saw it in a broader, it brought things into perspective as to what I had already been experiencing with the energies, okay, on a wider scale, on a personal scale. So and it had to do with my YouTube channel. And when you think of Saturn and the responsibilities that it puts on us, and the fact how he was describing it, and okay, God, I apologize in advance for not coming more prepared for this message. I really thought I was just gonna talk about the one small thing and get going, and then I was like, well, I need to set it up in a different space today, because I'm working on a project in my other space. So in getting caught up in the details, the message got a little bit clustered, or I don't know. Anyways, oh my God. Let me shut up for a second. All right. So anywho, so yesterday it was like it hit home. The message hit home with what is my purpose and how I feel about my purpose, and why did I feel like I was being derailed from my purpose, and why I felt unseen, why I felt, and I don't mean seen publicly, not like even socially or like a social media. I don't even mean it in those ways. I mean like the recognition of like I see what you've done. I see what you've done in the best way. Like, can you, like, someone to acknowledge, like when they do these ceremonies, like a lifetime achievement award kind of thing. It feels like that, to be quite honest. And so I was just like thinking, that sucks when you don't feel seen for a lifetime achievement, which to me feels like a lifetime achievement. If anyone knows my personal story, could see a lifetime achievement has been achieved. Oh, Lord, it makes me want to cry. But I can't. But I can. And this is what I hate so much. I hate crying. Because it's like, everybody's like, don't be so sensitive. Don't be so emotional. Don't be so whatever. And it's like, sometimes you are. I mean, we are emotional beings. And so to communicate to a public that is where you can hear their thoughts, meaning the thoughts that they think you've thought of too, like, girl, be quiet, or, oh, please, or who does she think she is? All of those like judgments, we all hear them. We also hear those that empathize with us, or those that understand us. There's like a knowing when you've tapped into a vibration of I guess you could say understanding or understanding, where you recognize one another, where you can see. It's like, oh, you're supposed to just be an ordinary person, right? Just your random ordinary person, but you recognize those that are actually doing the work, actually making a difference, actually playing a part in the bigger scope of life, in society, shaping our world, actually seeing it. And so the message that today that Gemini Brown gave kind of gave closure a little bit to yesterday's message, because yesterday was what it kind of got me out of a slump, in a sense, mental slump, if anything. Not even, I don't know how to express it. It was more like you feel a little bit like listless. I use that word a lot, but I don't even know if I'm using it right, to be quite honest. But you kind of feel like, oh, okay, so, oh yeah, I achieved that thing. You'd expect to feel more seen for it, or you would have expected to see more reward for it, or like something more tangible, more visible, more like, my energy work really is something. And I see it in so many ways, but then there's ways that I want to see it in that I don't see it, and it's like, what the fuck? I know I'm doing the work correct, so why does it feel like I'm being sabotaged in this section or in this area? And that's what that was for me yesterday. It was like, thank you, Gemini Brown, for that I guess you could say bringing it home for me personally. But that's what made me realize how important it is for me, despite my own personal, like my ego wanting to say, because my personal ego, when it comes to my content, feels to me, I'm going to express to you how it is for me, why I do my channel and all of this stuff. I have this channel because I feel like I have a purpose to share a message. There's a part of me where back in when I was younger, where I would have done something for the recognition of my family, my friends, my spouse, whoever it would have been for someone else. But when I started this channel, I remember the first video that I did that I felt was like kind of open Pandora's box in my reality. It was me talking about the government. I was like really pissed off my government. And I don't even remember what I was talking about so much, but I was saying I was really pissed. And I remember feeling so scared because at the time my son's father was there, and he kind of had this look of, I don't know if you should have said that. And then there was like a feeling of shame or embarrassment, like, because I have all of my friends from the government that I've worked with for so many years. I have like, it's almost like a double life, right? It feels like a double life. I had this whole world of people that I'm supposed to behave in a certain way in front of, okay? Like the way I had to present myself at work was one way. The way I had to present myself in front of my family was another way. And then the way I am is another way. And only the people that live with me know how I am. And so it was a conflict of interest for me in many ways to even express all that anger, because I know it would ruffle a lot of feathers, or it would cause a lot of judgments. Like the audacity for her to think, because it was on all levels. It was on all levels because of my social status, my economic status, my lifestyle, whatever it is that you want, like however I've lived my life. You have people that oh, crazy Kissy, crazy Kissy meaning wild child Kissy, right? Or, oh, Kissy, the government girl, the girl that, follows those rules all the time, the prick, basically. And then there's the caretaker, the family, the daughter, the sister, the friend, the social version of me. Interrelating all of those aspects of myself, and then having the capacity, I guess you could say, to know how to move through different realms in different ways, and have a real understanding of I guess you could say, of human experience or human emotions. I don't know. Going through so many different realms and so many different spaces, understanding different life circumstances from so many different lenses gives me a unique perspective. And so for me to be composed and condensed and very reserved in so many ways, to only be comfortable. And here's the thing, because whenever I did react or respond, if anything, to the injustices in my work or in my relationships, or I had to do it politically correct. I had to do it in such a way where it couldn't be misconstrued. I had to become like my own freaking defense attorney. And so me going, I guess you could say public, or for me posting a video at the time, being very naive of public perception, or no, not public perception. I was very aware of public perception. I was not aware of how low people would go, or how cruel people could be, or how hard people will go to hate, because to me it's like, I know who my enemies are. I know exactly who I deal with. I know who likes me or doesn't like me. I know who has gripes with me, and I know who doesn't. But because those are personal dynamics, You never expect somebody to become an enemy of yours that has nothing to do with you. Like, just because, oh, I don't like you, just because, therefore, let me harass you. And that's that was one of the things that I had to experience online to understand the other side of the coin when it comes to interacting with people and how people are in terms of public personas and private personas. Like, to me, I thought it was obvious initially, because I'm like, oh, I know that, like, even if I had to be this way with these people, it was like the baseline of who I am. Everyone can say, it's like there's like a baseline. Okay, no, we know her character. Or we can, you can say this about her, but I don't think you can say that about her. Like, that's not really how she is. So that kind of stuff, I had to deal with a lot of that, a lot of behind the scenes conversations that I knew were happening, but nobody was outright talking or bringing up or asking. And it led to a lot of, I guess you could say, being shunned by my society in many ways, where they didn't really understand the larger scope of which I speak about on my channel. The larger scope being the patterns of energy on a larger scale, and the archetypes that affect us and how they play into our actual lives. And if people are not mindful of how they play into that, they may not consciously be aware how they're being used to cause injustice or injustices. So when we see things on the news and we hear about, Israel, we hear about Gaza, we hear about, just politics in general, and we think that's just what that is. It's just that little, let me tell you this, being in that realm of the government, it is so disassociated with what you hear in the mainstream, meaning that no one department is really aware of what another department is doing. And it's all very convoluted, and it's purposely done that way, FYI. But that's not the whole point of my conversation. I don't even know that I got a point at this point. Okay, but there was something else I wanted to say. Hold on. Oh, yes. I did write this because I don't want to forget to say this. I have to believe that even if one person is inspired or motivated to follow their purpose, it's worth it every time. So never give up. And the reason I wrote that was because that's my gratitude to Gemini Brown. He doesn't even know me. He doesn't know anything about me. I've maybe liked a couple of his posts here and there. I've maybe commented and written, to that extent. He could say, oh, yeah, oh, that person, that account, or whatever, and that's it. But on a larger scale, the work that he is doing, that one message he put out that he didn't have to put out, but he did, that one message served me personally in such a profound way, that he doesn't know how that one little moment, had he not reached me the way he did. And to someone would be like, oh my God, your purpose is to have a YouTube account? No, asshole. It's not to have a YouTube account. But the fact that let's go into the whole YouTube thing. I'm doing my YouTube, even though I know that there's powers that be, so to speak, that is pushing me to produce. I know I'm being used for my masculine energy. I have a lot of fire energy. So I know what I'm being used for, and I know who is using me, or I know the entity that is trying to use me and would burn me out very quickly, very easily, would put pressure on me. And that's Saturn energy. But and when I say it like that, it might sound to some random person that's listening that has nothing to do with astrology, just some hater person, right? Because that makes no sense. Who would listen? I mean, there's nothing about my channel that would indicate what I do. You would have to just so happen to be algorithmically attracted to the same stuff that I am attracted to even get, for my message to even come across your ears, right? And so therefore, with that being said, I feel like, yes, there is manipulation of energies, but when you learn to discern, you can see that even if there is no actual connection to a person online, there is a purposefully, on a human level, if you want to put it that way, or maybe even an archetypal level, there are individuals doing a specific work, and that specific work is shifting our consciousness, the consciousness of the collective. The other message that I wanted to share in regards to that it just left. It just left. But yeah, I think that was all. No, there was a lot more, for sure. Oh, okay. Maybe it'll come to me. This isn't what I was going to say, but let me just show you. Yesterday I pulled a card and I received the message, listening. I know you can't really see it. It's very dark, but it's okay. From there? Okay, no. And the message was listening and resonance. And that's exactly what happened. Yesterday, I got in meditation. I got into prayer. I was very much into, I guess you could say, seeking within for an answer. I get this card, and then I get the message. And it made full sense in the moment. And I guess what I mean by this is, you don't know sometimes that you have a dream in your heart or a vision. You have a purpose, and it may not make sense all the time. It's like a painting that hasn't been fully developed. Like, when I start, wanting to draw my whatever comes through, right? I could just be like, oh, I'm just gonna do my my chaos art. I'm just gonna go ahead and do chaos art. You can't really see it's just chaos at the moment. But then eventually the images start to come, or the intuition starts to see things. And as you start to do it, you're like, oh, okay. You start to see the bigger picture. That's kind of what purpose feels like. You don't see, because it might be a lifetime achievement. So you don't see how everything you're doing every day is adding up to something bigger, to something more that even you can't predict, sort of. You maybe can. But if you're living your life with an intention to make a difference, or an intention to heal, or an intention to bring conscious awareness to the depth of our spirit, the depth of our connection to one another, like life in general. I remember a time when, people are very passé with things. And even to this day, people will passively, say things. You wonder, do you even realize what you're saying? Are you actually saying that? Are you actually behaving this way? Are you actually doing this consciously? Or are you that unconscious that you're acting so out of control with yourself? that's a question I've always had. Like, are people really out of control? Or do they pretend to be out of control? Or are they don't know better? So that has always been kind of like a curiosity, understanding human dynamics, human relationships. Like, why do people even cheat? Like, why would you get married and cheat? Like, are you really going to pretend, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm a man. Or, oh, I was lonely. Like, come on, people. No, they're so... And then that's the thing that like, when you start correcting bad behavior is when you're harmful to someone unnecessarily. I'm not saying don't, if somebody tries to attack you, defend yourself. Of course, you protect yourself. But to actively be hurtful to people because you woke up pissed off, to actively be cruel, it's flabbergasting. Is that even the way to say it? I feel very out of my maybe I'm out of my center, but I feel centered. But is it retrograde? Is that Mercury retrograde that has me fumbling through my words like this? Probably. I was going to do a reading. Oh, so... Wait, did I say everything about... I was going to do a reading, but I don't think I want to. I feel like there's more to say. Every time I think that I want to have a gripe with the audience, it's not really the audience that I want to gripe with. It's meaning, like, I don't want to come out here and be like, and blah, like, baby, what the hell? I was going to say maybe projecting like my own stuff, like my pissed offness. I don't want to put that out there to you, whoever listens to me. You're not the person that I would say that to. So why would I even throw that out there? You know what I mean? I feel like that would be unconscious, right? And I guess that's where it's coming full circle. Like when I did that message that I feel like kind of like made me feel like, when I first did that, I felt like I see all these injustices. I see all the stuff that's happening to me in real life. Like, and I know I'm not playing victim here. I know that this is like shitty shit that people are doing in real life. So I'm like, let me tell you about this. Make sure this doesn't happen to you too, kind of stuff, right? And you better keep your eyes open. I got so freaking... I didn't think of the repercussions that would bring. I had no idea when I tell you, I had no idea what that would do. It truly opened up Pandora's box. But that was me being unconscious. I was conscious of my actuality, but I was unconscious of the way that my energetic reaction or expression would cause a reaction, right? and I'm talking about several years of being very much having to stay on high alert mentally because of how invasive the negative projections were. And so that's why I always say be conscious of how you communicate. My first channel actually was Creative Conscious, what was it? Creative Conscious Connections. Creative Conscious Connections. Because my intention was to consciously connect creatively with others. I was doing several projects at the time, and this is part of the message with Pluto. wherever the hell Pluto is right now. I think it's a Libra. I don't know. That wait, what am I saying about Pluto? I have Pluto in Libra. But where is it right now? Isn't that what's going on? Or is it? Let me see. No, Pluto's in Aquarius. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, Pluto in Aquarius. But wait. Then hold on. Wait, folks. Here we go. Okay, just show me this real quick. Okay. It's currently in the first house. Mercury is opposite Pluto right now. Okay. Okay. See, I start the researching process and then I forgot what the hell I was going to say. What I was saying was that the Pluto energy right now, see, I lost track. Get me out of that. The distractions just come easily. They come. And I could be like, I have all of this information that wants to come through, and then all of a sudden, goes away. Goes away. But, damn it. Yes. All the intention that I had was to connect with others, right? To connect with others creatively. I was working in a metaphysical shop. I was doing lectures, spiritual lectures there. I was working on a project to make a small movie with a meetup group. And I was having meetup groups at my house, spiritual meetups as well as painting parties. That in itself, and then also sharing my meditation practices and what I was doing online with my readings, and then trying to, and not understanding how to create a package to make a living out of my creative endeavors, right? And then I meet this person that after, it's like right after I started my channel or putting content out, that I told you I got the influx of people coming through. I was so open to personal attack because I was looking at it from the stance of, oh, I'm networking. And networking means you got to be open to people, you know, and talking to them and promoting your stuff and marketing your information. So I'm marketing on Facebook, Instagram. I'm marketing on YouTube. I'm marketing online and with my business card. I'm marketing everywhere, promoting everywhere, working in real estate, working in all these different, I had my hand in every field practically that interests me. Because I was thinking, once I left the government job, I'm going to follow my passion. Well, what's my passion? Well, damn, I like to do this. I started doing this. I like to do that. I started doing that. I love to do this. I started doing this. Started doing everything I love to do. And I was just sharing that. I didn't know the enemies that was creating. I didn't know the hate that was generating. I didn't know the judgments that was creating. I didn't know how people were going to compete against all of that. I did not know that I was creating all of this conflict with others towards me at the time. But all of a sudden, you kind of let it go. And you start to, because when you know your integrity, it's like you don't have to seek closure from people that you know you didn't do anything to. But whoever's trying to do things to you, if they have a problem, they know where to find you. So that's always been my thing. Like, if you have a problem with me, you know it. Because I am not shy to tell you. That includes the government. So I'm like, what does that have to do with my, like, when I realized yesterday, I'm doing this service as, initially it started off as, I'm promoting this because I thought this is how I have to make my own business. In order, I have to generate income, right? I'm supposed to generate an income. If you're going to be an entrepreneur and create your own business, you're generating income. The thing is, what did I hear yesterday? If you want to be a good salesperson, you gotta be willing to tell people what they want to hear. And I wasn't willing to tell people what they wanted to hear, but I was willing to tell people what they had to hear. And I realized that what they have to hear and what they want to hear, they may think they don't want to hear it, but they do. So that's why I'm successful. Because I never told people what they wanted to hear. I told them what I had to tell them. They were angry that I told them what I had to tell them because they thought, I don't want to hear this shit. And then they realized that they had to hear that shit because hearing that shit is what they needed for their eyes to open, or for their heart to open, or for their healing to happen, or for their understanding to be clear. And so I was indirectly doing the right thing and I didn't even know it. I wasn't conscious of my own success. And now the reason why I was feeling a certain kind of way until today that I came out here is because I was starting to question, what was the point of doing all of this? I have this feeling inside of me to share a message that not very many people seem to be interested in, or that seems to be controversial, or that seems to be, superficially seen as whatever, no big deal, or maybe it's nothing, or whatever it is, like, who cares? But no, whatever comes through with the messages is there's a deeper human connecting that's there for those that wish to participate with. My initial reasonings to the purpose that was brought to me, I remember it was like a golden age. I saw it as like a renaissance. And it was so beautiful, that vision. And to me, the drive was like, oh my God, I'm going to go and make all these friends. And we're all going to do, we're going to create a community where we can do the work that we love. And the work that we love is just creative in every way. I mean, putting on plays, making movies, making pictures, drawing arts, and everything beautiful, right? And that's all I kept seeing, this renaissance, this renaissance, this renaissance. And I just kept living in that renaissance within my own self, cultivating that renaissance within myself, cultivating that the appreciation for art, for music, for my world has become so enriched in so many ways, because the more I focused on that, at the beginning it was so hard because I had to get out of the whole mindset of, I need to get a job. I just left my government job. I need to get a job. I need to make a career. I need to be recognized as a professional in something that somebody can say, oh, she's somebody. That's really what it was. I need to have a career that says I'm somebody, so people could say, oh, that's somebody that does that thing. Okay, she does that thing. Oh, and this is a service she does. So salesman over here, or doctor over there, or this other person, these are our services, and you do this one thing. But there was like, what is the thing and what is the value? And then there's that whole thing about, oh, spirituality, you shouldn't charge for spiritual work, right? Because I'm supposed to be this like hermit that is constantly broke, or some kind of, you know what I mean, like some saint that doesn't No, it's just, I'll do everything for you for free because I'm just a servant for you. So that's the energy that they were trying to project onto me. If it wasn't old, if it wasn't sick, if it wasn't poor, if it wasn't ugly, if it wasn't, I mean, every negative projection was being projected. And it was part of the, I think they call that it's like a psychological, what do they call it? Like a shit show or whatever it is. Shitfest 2025. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it was all of those negative projections while I'm trying to cultivate a world that's beautiful. And then also trying to like establish something out of nothing and build something out of all of it and create a community that encompasses all of it and create something of value where where life is just easier to live in. Life is just more comfortable, and I don't mean that in the getting so comfortable that you're lazy and no more creative. No, but living a life out of not in struggle, not concerned all the time about survival, not scared of whether or not you're going to make it next month. You know what I mean? Like, not living that way. It was all about, how do I get out of a program that limits me, overworks me, and build my own structure that I can be unlimited in how much I create without losing my own integrity. That was the challenge. And some way, somehow, it happened where things got easier, where opportunities occurred that made my life slow down, that made things a little more stable, that made things a little more easy, that is unconventional in many ways, but it's my lifestyle doesn't use me, if that makes sense. So I had to fight against being used, like, meaning having, for me personally, to make the effort, the actual effort to make it happen, burn my body out for a lifestyle. Now, because what I had learned was, as much as I burned out my body to work from the age of 14 to build the perfect life for my family, to be completely sovereign, independent, like, that was my goal. I remember wanting to be an entrepreneur simply because I wanted to be in charge of my own life. I didn't want to live under a rule. Excuse me. I don't want to live under a rule. And as early as I started working was towards what I believed was that ticket to freedom. Which positions were going to pay me more? Which skills did I have to learn? What was the path to success? So that I can finally have a system that runs on its own without me having to do too much, so that I can enjoy and reap the benefits of my labor, or the fruits of my labor, whatever, however you say that. And I'm doing that now. And and if you ask me, Kissy, how did you do that? How did you manage to create a lifestyle that was more aligned with your needs? And I would say it was a lot of trial and error. I would say it was a lot of learning lessons. I would say it was a lot of effort and hard work. Even if it felt like it was it didn't reap results, or like, meaning, for example, you know how much effort and hard work I put into my relationships, effort and hard work I put into my jobs, effort and hard work I put into being a good parent, effort and hard work being a good daughter, efforts and hard work being a good woman, efforts and hard work and being a good this, good that. And a lot of it didn't lead to the outcomes I expected. It left me feeling like I'd rather not even be here, if that's what it means. And it was those hard lessons, those painful, unfulfilled dreams, I guess you could say, or those painful disappointments that we have to let go of, eventually just got easier to let go of, because now it was about my peace. Now it's about my health. Now it's about my silence. Now it's about me being me and nobody pushing me. Don't push me to do anything for you. Don't push me to think for you. Don't push me to feel for you. Don't push me to act for you. Don't push me to work for you. Don't push me to effort for you. I don't work for nobody. I don't have rule over me. Period. I think I'll leave my message at that. I wish I had more to say. I probably do, but not right now. I wish I was in the mood to read, but I'm not right now. I would be singing, but I don't want to right now. Is that all, folks? Yeah, I guess that's all. All right, folks, I'll come back soon. Thank you for listening. Take care.